Hey, Max.
He loves people.
You want to be in this too.
He's a handle.
Yeah. Just don't bump this, Max.
No, I'll put him in my lap. Come here. Come here. Come here. You know you want to come here. Oh.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's my constant companion. I rescued him from a few years back. Well, actually, quite a few years back. It was 11 years ago. I rescued him in Honolulu at the dog pound.
Wow.
They had got a whole bunch of puppies that they had. This guy in Iea had a puppy mill going, and he was mistreating the dogs. They were all in really bad condition. So in the pound went over there and investigated him. They busted him for having. Where's all the parents of these dogs?
Wow.
Oh, they're gone and passed away and all this kind of stuff. The guy was selling puppies.
Oh.
All kinds of chihuahuas, different ones, the long-haired ones.
Huh.
So I went to the pound, not really expecting what or knowing what I was going to see or get.
Yeah.
So I walked in there and it was like pandemonium. They were like maybe, and they're all wanting puppies. So it was like a puppy sale going on. And I walked in there and I said, what kind of a dog do I want? And out of the crowd of people, it seemed like a sea had parted, and this little dog came running up to me. And I looked down and I said, oh, I kind of bent over, pat him and stuff. I said, you want to go home with me? And he jumped in my arms.
Wow.
So I said, well, I guess I don't have to look any further. I got myself a little puppy. Took him home and brought him over from Honolulu to here on the plane.
Wow. How long ago was that?
That was about 11 years ago.
11 years ago.
Yeah, so now he's 12 this year. He's 12 years old. Yeah, so.
Okay.
Quite a thing.
So this is Steve Parente, and this is a new series that I'm putting together for fretted and non-fretted stringed instruments and other instruments and musicians. And today we are talking with guitar virtuoso Larry Dupio in Hilo, Hawaii, on his veranda. And Larry is quite a blues guitarist, but he's also songwriter, singer. He's the whole package. So we're going to talk with him today and we'll see what he's up to. And he's well known in Hawaii, but he's been in the mainland too. And so I'll stop talking and just kind of let you, tell your story and how you got started.
Well, my story's kind of predetermined, I would say, because my father was a jazz trumpet player in the 40s.
Huh?
And after World War II, he came into Honolulu, and it was Partyville after World War II. So Honolulu was like the hub of the Pacific. Everybody going there to party after the war. So my father formed I guess back then you could call it an orchestra, because there were more than 20 guys. A whole horn section, and one of my uncles played keyboard. So I grew up in that big band jazz era of the 40s, but I came in the 50s, so it was a lot of that happening too on the radio. Elvis was big. The Letterman was big,
And this was on Oahu, right?
Yeah, this is on Oahu, and Um, then he, about age 8, he gave me a ukulele. And so I fooled around with that for a while. He dragged me on stage one day when I was about 10. He goes, my son is going to play ukulele for you guys. And it was a whole adult audience, you know. And so I get up on stage and he goes, just play a couple songs. So I played a couple songs. And then I got so nervous that after the second song, I ran off stage. Because everybody was staring, you know, they were all looking at me.
Yeah.
I ran off stage. My father stopped me before I got off stage. He said, he turned me right around. He said, you see all that on the stage? That's yours. And they were throwing money on the stage when I was a little kid. I mean, you know, he goes, go pick it up. It's all yours. So I ran over there and picked up a pocket full of money. I didn't know how much it was, but it was a pocket full. And ran off stage, and he goes, okay, that's your money. You can do whatever you want with it. So fortunately, I had brothers and sisters that weren't there, but they benefited off of the money that I made that night. You know, I treated everybody to the matinee movie. You know, it was, let's go to the movie. Okay, what comes along with the movie? The hot dogs, the popcorn. So that got me hooked and playing. I was looking forward to my dad wanting me to come with him, and so he could give me my 10 minutes of fame there.
Do you remember what song you played on the ukulele?
Oh, it was Nana Cooley.
Okay, Nana Cooley.
And I also played this old song called Living on Easy.
Okay.
I think Gabby Painui covered it later on. It was an old song from the 40s.
Uh-huh.
You know, they called Hapahauli songs because it was in English, not in Hawaiian.
Okay.
So that was the kind of songs that were popular back then. And they came along with big band jazz. They jazzed it up, and it became real popular. People going out, dancing, that was it. Go.
Yeah.
So I grew up with that. You know, I kind of, in the 50s, I came at the tail end of my dad's career. Because after his kids were born, there was less of a career for him and more of a straight job. He had to do a day job. And I could tell he was a little unhappy about that, but he did it anyway and played music at night. So
yeah.
We hardly saw my dad after that. He worked during the day, came home after work, took a shower, got dressed, and left for his gigs. So I grew up with music all around, and you know, family parties.
Yeah.
Everybody played and sang, danced hula. You know how that is back in the 50s and stuff.
What do they call that? Kani Kapila?
Kani Kapila, yes. And there were even guys that played spoons, you know, along with everybody at the party, played spoons. And I'm sure everybody's pretty familiar when people start playing beer cans, you know, along with the music.
Of course.
Yeah, so I grew up in that kind of a scene. And I would say 1963, we moved up to the mainland. My dad got a better job working for the government. So we moved to the Bay Area in San Francisco, and we lived on the East Bay part in Hayward, California. But my dad had more gigs, and he had a great job working at Treasure Island in San Francisco. I know it involved electronics, so we didn't know that many details of what he did. But we knew he played music, so because sometimes we went along, he didn't have any babysitters, so My mom worked too. She worked as a cigarette lady in the club. She carried the box with all the cigarettes and gum and different things that people might want.
How old were you at that time?
So when we moved up to the mainland, I was about 10.
Okay.
10 years old. And the biggest thing that had happened was the president got assassinated.
Oh, yeah.
Kennedy got assassinated. So we really didn't understand it as kids, the impact of something like that. We just thought, wow, And after that, then it became the Beatles. We saw the Beatles on Ed Sullivan. And when I saw the Beatles, I said, you don't have to be in a big band. You could just get 2 other of your friends and just play.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted to do out of everything. I decided right then and there, it wasn't going to be professional baseball. It was going to be music, So it started me on a journey of learning how to play music and playing guitar and getting better. And, back then it was all about getting better all the time.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why do it if you're not going to take it further, So my father instilled that in me as far as instrument. He was a great trumpet player. He could play the Flight of the Bumblebee.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and it was amazing,
Did you ever try to play it?
Flight of the Bumblebee, are you kidding?
No, not that. No, but did you ever try to play trumpet?
I did, but it hurt my mouth so bad. Trying at the beginning, I cried. I went to my dad and I said, I don't want to play trumpet. And he was a little bit wounded about it, but he goes, okay, what do you want to do? You got to do something.
Yeah.
So I said, because the Beatles, I said, I wanted to play guitar. And he goes, oh, like Elvis and all that. I said, yeah. At the time, I thought Elvis Presley was the best guitar player I'd ever known.
Yeah.
I didn't know that he was faking it. I didn't catch on to that until I learned how to play guitar. Saw the same movie and went, oh, it's the other guy behind him playing. So I got more interested in guitar playing than singing at the time.
Who was that? That was a great guitar.
Scotty Moore.
Scotty Moore, that's right.
And he was great guitar. He filled in oh man. You ever listen to the Elvis records with Scotty Moore playing? It's just amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. I mean, he was as good as Joe Pass.
Yeah.
So it was like, I started to notice guitar players, and I really liked Chuck Berry when he came out. Cause he did the floor stuff, the duck walk. Yeah. Spread his legs and put the guitar behind it. Did all the tricks, and you go, oh, I've never done that before. I'd like to do that, So I practiced up and did that stuff. And it was just show-offy stuff,
Yeah.
Like, look, Mom, no hands,
A performance.
Yeah. So it became a lot more fun to play. And as I got older, I started to notice that the girls took notice of the guy playing guitar. And I thought, I'll play more guitar, and the rest is kind of history, I got into bands early on and didn't know anything about the business, actually.
Yeah.
And it just made people take advantage of me. I would play for free.
Yeah.
And before I realized, well, everybody else is getting paid. What about you?
Yeah. Well, when was what was your first show besides the one with your dad?
Oh, it was at the Sheraton Waikiki.
Okay.
And it was with a big band. I don't know if you remember Bernie Hellman.
Mm-hmm.
He was a big band leader back then with the days of Melvin Lead and all that back in the early 60s, 70s and stuff. So I got a gig playing in his band, and it was all about reading music. So luckily, I had the background with my dad and all that music, so I knew what the song sounded like already. So I just looked at the music and kind of made like I knew what I was doing, but everybody in the band knew I didn't know.
How old were you at that time?
I was 16.
16.
Yeah, and it was quite an impressive thing to have a gig while you're in high school.
Yeah.
And you're getting paid.
Yeah.
You know? So that actually prompted me to get my driver's license. And I bought a car for $250. It was in my uncle's yard in the back, and there were bushes growing out of it. So I bought it for $250 and fixed it up, and that was my car in high school for a while.
That's how you got around to all your gigs.
Yeah, and with a nice, it was a beat up car, but it was a car.
Yeah.
So all my buddies used to catch me in the morning, and there were 6 guys all pile into the back seat of the car just to get a ride to school, so they don't have to catch the bus.
Wow.
So it was funny because I didn't know anything about. Hey, if I'm going to take you guys to school, you guys should fork over some gas money, because it was still, well, why? You're going that way anyway, that's right.
Yeah.
Man, okay. So, it wasn't until I got a little bit smarter. I used to leave like an hour earlier than they would come over to my house.
Yeah.
So by the time they come over, I'd be gone. So I avoided getting a whole bunch of guys to ride with me. Otherwise, that can be it for the whole high school.
You avoided being the taxi.
Yeah. So from Waikiki gigs and stuff, my friend in high school was starting a garage band, a rock band actually.
Okay.
So I go, yeah, I want to be part of the rock band. So me and another guitar player, pretty prominent, Bobby Ngano.
Okay. And now this is in California, or is this back in Hawaii?
No, this when we moved back to Hawaii.
You moved back. So you moved back about what time?
We moved back in 69.
69. Okay.
So I was like just 16 when we moved back.
Okay.
I begged my dad to get a gig, to be a professional guitar player, much to my mom's disappointment.
Oh.
She thought I was going to be a lawyer or a doctor. She wanted that.
Okay.
And when I told him, I'm going to be a professional musician, she cried. Mom, why are you crying? She couldn't talk. She had to run into the room, and then my dad explained it to me. She wanted you to be a lawyer, doctor, one of those high-paying jobs and stuff.
Yeah.
But I said, well, she goes, she told me later, she goes, it just disappointed me to know that you're picking the hardest job to make it in this world. Only a few guys make it. You're just going to be pounding yourself into the pavement until you decide to give up music. And I wanted to prove my mom wrong, so I said, I'm not going to quit ever. And it was a lot of learning. Along the way, I learned a lot of songs and how to play and how to perform. I learned a lot on how to perform. Yeah. Backing up performers.
Yeah.
Watching them, how the things they go through, the people in front. I learned.
So like a lot of rhythm guitar, huh?
Lots of rhythm. In the 60s, there were minimal lead guitar things going on because the horns dominated everything. And then we heard stuff coming from England that was, what is that? That's the first time I heard Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, what's he doing? I mean, you listen on the record and you can't tell what's going on. You're like, well, how is he doing that? Right? So it took the first time I saw him play, and then I realized what he was doing. You know, I was awestruck, just awestruck. I didn't know he made the guitar talk. And to me, that was a very new thing.
Yeah.
Instead of performing the notes and playing the chords, now you can make the guitar a solo instrument. You know, it opened my ears to a lot of different stuff. And of course, there were other groups. You know, another big one influence on my playing was Led Zeppelin. The first time I saw them play, I was captivated by Jimmy Page. He played a Les Paul. And that's the first time I ever seen somebody play a Les Paul. Nobody played Les Pauls until I saw Jimmy Page play. Then I realized, oh, other guitar players played the Les Paul. But back then it was the 335, 345, the big jazz guitars that a lot of guitar players played.
Had you seen Les Paul actually play back then at all? Or?
The man Les Paul?
Yeah.
No, but I heard his records.
Okay.
And you could never figure it out because it was doubled up. It was at echo. It had like 3 different parts going at the same time. It made for tricky learning because you had to really listen and go, what's he doing here? And he was like one of the best guitar players I'd ever seen.
Yeah.
You know, Django Reinhardt was another one.
Yeah.
It was like in the late 60s, there was Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
And then I think a month later, I saw Johnny Winter.
Oh, yeah. Another great one.
Yeah. And, you know, it just, oh, you can do that? All of a sudden, you going, I'd like to do that instead of playing pop stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and then I discovered the blues. Me and my friend Bobby Engano, we both discovered the blues at the same time. He had some blues records.
About how old were you when that happened?
Oh, about 17.
17. So pretty close after you started playing
professionally.
Yeah.
And it was like, I liked it because to me it felt more relaxed, more creative. You could be more creative because it's got a simple arrangement that remains constant throughout the song, so you know how to create something in that, you know. I listened to different blues groups play and discovered Chicago, the band Chicago, and I thought, oh, they're playing a Traffic song, you know, I'm a Man.
Right.
So I was like, oh, wow, you could do it with a horn section. You could, you know, and the thing that really threw me for a loop was the first time I saw Jethro Tull. And it was rock flute. First time I'd ever heard a flute in
Yeah, I remember that too.
that aspect. And, I saw them when they came to Honolulu. I sold out concert. I didn't realize who that was. I mean, I knew about the song Aqualung.
Yeah.
That was on the radio. But the rest of the stuff was like so much better than Aqualung. They just picked the AM radio version of that, you know.
Yeah.
But seeing the show, made me a more firm believer in original music.
Yeah.
Because they weren't like anybody I knew.
Yeah. I got into Jethro Tull too. But I never got to see him play. I got to see Led Zeppelin play.
Oh yes, I saw them 2 nights in a row, and I had the front row seat. And, back then, they let you go up to the stage, stand right up to the stage, so I'm looking up.
Wow!
And if I could have reached out, I would have grabbed Jimmy Page's leg because he was playing right in front of me. You know, like I saw everything he did.
Yeah.
With the slide and the echo and all this kind of stuff.
Was he doing anything with the bow at that
He
time?
did the bow.
Yeah.
He did. They did all the classic stuff. You
Yeah.
know? And I think, yeah, when I first went to that show, they had just come out with album number 4, Stairway to Heaven, and they played Stairway to Heaven live right in front of me.
Yeah.
You know, I was awestruck. I was all about Led Zeppelin for months.
Yeah.
You know, we back then our band, local band, we learned everything. We learned all the Led Zeppelin songs.
Yeah.
And we had this one guy, Portuguese guy. He had the high voice. He could do it.
Yeah.
So he grew his hair out long like that. And we all grew our hair out long.
Yeah.
We pretended we were Led Zeppelin.
Okay.
You know, I wanted just to play the guitar parts.
Uh-huh.
I wasn't interested in singing or anything, just the guitar parts. Just what I saw in front of me, I wanted to do that.
Yeah.
Be a lead guitar player. You know, of course I saw Eric Clapton a few times too.
Yeah. He's a great one too, yeah.
Oh yeah, you know, I really like, I was more in favor of the soloing part rather than the singing parts.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really care about singing back then. But it all changed when I was playing in the club here in Pahoa. And a couple of guys from New York, they came and they said, why don't you make your own band? You know, it says, all the bands that you've been in, everybody just comes to see you. They're not interested in the other guys in the band. They just come to see you.
This was in Pahoa?
In Pahoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I hung out in Kalapana.
Yeah.
Got to know all my friends out there, family and extended family, and hung out there for years. Got married. Brought my wife over from Honolulu, and we started our family here.
Yeah.
You know,
How did you come to the Big Island in the first place?
well, it was a toss-up between the Big Island or Maui, because I wanted to get out of Honolulu. It was too much stuff to handle. You know, too many people, everybody's in your face. You know, and I just said that was too much for me. You know. So
But what year was that?
That was in '77.
77.
Yeah, I had come back from the military in '75.
Oh, you went into the military?
Yeah, I was part of the last draft.
Okay.
I got drafted
Oh, for Vietnam.
for Vietnam.
Oh, in
Yeah.
75.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just missed that.
Well, actually, in '72, I got drafted. I came back in '75.
Okay.
You know, and
Oh, you were drafted in 72, came back in 75, and decided to move to the Big Island.
just got out of Honolulu. I couldn't take it.
Okay.
I don't know. It was just too much for me.
Yeah.
I wanted more peace and quiet, and not so much neighbors
Yeah.
close by watching you from their window. I didn't like that part.
What branch of the military?
I was in the Navy.
In the Navy.
Yeah, I got my draft notice, and then I went to my dad and I said, I'm thinking of going to Canada with my buddy. And he's like, why? Why do you want to go? I said, I don't want to go into warfare. I didn't want to be in the bushes
Yeah.
with all that. You know, I didn't want to do that. He goes, well, you can join something else. So I thought of the Navy because I could swim really well. And in my thinking, young guy, in my thinking, well, if the ship sinks, I can always swim away.
Yeah.
You know, not like in the Air Force. If the plane's going down, how many parachutes are there? Somebody's got to go down with the plane, and I don't do that. And I didn't want to be in the Army.
Yeah.
Because that was too close for combat.
Right.
So I joined the Navy. And,
So you got out in 75.
Yeah.
Didn't like Oahu.
Then couldn't take it anymore.
Too much going on.
Even though I grew up there, it was too much.
Then you came to the Big Island.
And I chose the Big Island over Maui.
Okay.
It was a toss-up.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
I thought, well, I like the Big Island better than Maui because my mom's family is from Kohala.
Oh.
So I had cousins and uncles here.
Oh, so you had family here you could visit.
Yeah, I could visit, do my laundry, get a dinner out of them, you know.
And you were playing.
I started playing at Rosie's Boathouse.
Oh, in Hilo.
Yeah, when I first moved here, I went there with my guitar and I talked to the manager and his wife, Doug and Eileen Harrington.
Okay.
So they were the managing Rosie's Boathouse at the time. So they gave me a dinner slot from 5 to 8.
Uh-huh.
You know, and 5 to 8, $100, a $50 dinner, and come back tomorrow.
Was it solo or did you have other people?
It was just me soloing, so I had to actually hone in my singing along with my
Oh, you
guitar
started
playing.
singing.
I had to. It was
Yeah.
the only other thing to do.
And what guitar were you using?
I was using a Takamine acoustic at the time.
Okay.
You know, where I just played. And back then, it was a lot of Cat Stevens, and a lot of
Yeah.
America, a lot of the different James Taylor, all the different solo artists I covered there, just so I could get the gig. You know.
Was the Takamine your first guitar?
No, I had the Les Paul at home, but I didn't use it for the gig.
Oh, you had a Les Paul?
Yeah,
That was your first guitar?
yeah.
Oh. What year was that?
I got that in 1970 when
So, and you know what year that Les Paul was made? Or
it was a 68.
68?
Yeah.
Yeah.
68 Les Paul. And I bought it for, back then it was like $500.
500 for a 68 Les Paul.
Yeah.
You still have that one, or?
No, I traded that one for other Les Pauls just to, this one doesn't feel right and that one feels a little bit better, so I'll trade to, they were good at trading straight across because they were both Les Pauls.
Yeah. Yeah.
They both had the same value, I would say.
Yeah.
So I did that. I did that for a while, and then got into a rock band here with Bonifacio Narito.
Okay.
He plays at Pineapples on Saturday nights.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
we had a rock band together. We played at Apolani's over by what's over there, where Kia is.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a restaurant there that was upstairs and downstairs. We played there, and we also played at the Pauhana Inn. It was right across the street from the pool, the Olympic pool, right across the street in that 2-story. I think downstairs is the Hilo Lunch Shop.
Uh-huh.
So that was the bar that was upstairs. So we played there. Besides there, we played all over Kona. All over, for the Mexican restaurant. There was a bar in Kona called the I Don't Know Bar.
Okay.
And all the bikers hung out there in Kona, so it was really good venue for rock and roll.
All right.
And
what were you playing at that time? Were you playing rhythm or were you playing lead at that time?
Oh, I became the lead guitar player because Bonifacio was a really good rhythm player.
Uh-huh.
So I didn't want to mess that up by me doing that, so I concentrated on playing lead.
Did you have like bass and drummer or anything? Or?
Yeah, we had we had a succession of bass and drummers.
Uh-huh.
So, let's see, the first ones were, a friend of mine, I guess he was from Hilo here, Lindsay Pasquale. He was the first bass player that I played with. Another one was Perry Santoro, who's with the Soul Town, the bass player for Soul Town now. He played in our band.
Yeah.
We had a drummer, Rick Archuleta. I don't think he plays anymore. And then through a succession, I had Wayne Uglum on bass and Jim Suji on drums.
Yeah.
When I pulled away from that rock band and made my own.
Yeah.
I took the advice of the two guys and started my own band.
Started your own.
Boy, I wasn't aware of all the stuff you had to be responsible for.
As the band leader?
As the band leader, it was like, the first thing you're trying to do is, what are we going to call the band? So here comes all these, how about this? How about that? It was like we couldn't come up with something. Yeah. So Lindsay Pasquale, he goes, well, just call it the Larry Dupio Band. There's no other name out there because we did research.
Yeah.
And other people had the names that we thought of.
Yeah.
So we thought, okay.
It's even worse now. Every name's taken.
Yeah. So it's like I made the decision, kind of a double-edged sword, putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
Because you're opening yourself up to ridicule. That comes.
Yeah.
Or sure, the accolades, the really good compliments come too.
Yeah.
But back then it was like, who the heck did we think? Who we were? We're just a band from Hilo,
Yeah.
competing with the bands from Honolulu that used to come over. But talking guitars, I've always had pretty good luck finding really good guitars. And through the years, it's been a whole succession of Les Pauls and Strats, Telly here and there, but it was mostly Les Pauls. I really love Les Pauls, the sound.
Is that your main guitar?
It's my favorite guitar to play.
Okay.
And it just does what I want it to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's real easy to play, and whatever I can think of, I can do it.
Yeah.
Some guitars, it depends on how stiff playing was. Maybe you can't bend the note all the way, halfway. It just takes a little bit more technique with every guitar. Even different guitars, like the Stratocaster, it takes a different technique of playing. I don't play the Stratocaster like I play the Les Paul. I pretty much play it like the Stratocaster. I don't expect it to sound like the Les Paul.
Right.
So I accept for whatever it can give me.
Although I've seen you play the Strat a lot, in various venues.
Yeah, it's a good, fun guitar to play, to me. I mean, it's twangy, it's got a different type of voice, and cuts through, especially the rhythm parts can cut right through a whole section of other people playing.
Yeah.
So it cuts right through, and it's very precise.
Yeah.
So you have to be pretty precise. With the Les Paul, I'm not saying that you have to be precise, but it's a lot easier to play.
Yeah. No, I understand what you're saying. The humbuckers are the different tone and everything.
And then you have the whole thing from the time, like say you have the volume on your Les Paul. At 2 or 3, you get a really nice mellowy sound.
Yeah.
At 3 and 4, it gets a little darker. And then towards the end, it'll roar, Yeah. So you have those 3 things to work. And then you've got the toggle switch, which has front pickup, back pickup, and both pickups.
Yeah.
That one is, a lot of people don't realize that middle section is where you can turn the knobs and really have different sounds.
Yeah. Right.
Whereas the front pickup sounds like the front pickup from clean to dirty. The back pickup sounds like the back pickup from clean to dirty.
Yeah.
So in the middle, you have different sounds. You know, how they say out of phase sounds.
Yeah.
You know, for lack of a better description.
Kind of that quacky sound too, yeah?
Yeah. Sort of a horn sounding thing. So,
yeah. Which is, I really like that tone. When I say quack, it's just kind of, I think people refer to it like that. But yeah, like a horn.
Yeah. And so that's very versatile. A Strat is versatile in a different way, especially if you have that wang bar.
Yeah.
So you can do a lot of things with it.
Yeah.
Some guys, they only just maybe finish a phrase, and at the end they go wah, 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 wah.
Right.
Whereas a person like Jeff Beck, and I've never seen anybody play like him before.
He was amazing.
Yeah, somebody like him uses every little tone that you can get on the Strat. Every little different. Turn a knob here. You can even have a wah-wah on the Strat. You know, what you do is you just hit the note and bend up, and then you hit the tone knob, which is the last one on the Strat, that one.
Yeah.
You turn it off, you hit the note, and you go wah, wah.
Okay.
You can make a lot of different sounds. I like to do animal sounds, you know, like cows and whales.
No, you're playing a Les Paul that has a whammy bar too now, right?
I know, the best of both worlds right there. But
yeah.
It's I would say it's pretty versatile. It has 3 pickups, 3 humbuckings that date back to 1957, which is what kind of guitar that is. It's a 1957. And that's the earliest issues of the humbucking pickup.
Okay.
You turn it around, it's got a patent applied for it.
Yeah.
Which, some of them call it PAF.
Yeah.
You know, those are the older ones.
Is that what's on your guitar now? Is PAFs?
Yeah. Oh. The very first issue of the PAF.
Oh, wow.
In 1957. So it's aged all that time, and it sounds so.
Yeah, they're not, and those weren't potted, so they kind of have a different. They pick up a little bit of the what's going on with the wood and everything. Huh?
Oh yes. They Les Paul Custom is solid mahogany. It's got bindings and things like that. It looks really nice, you know. Yeah. But it's solid mahogany, whereas a Sunburst Les Paul has got the 1/4-inch maple cap on solid mahogany.
Okay.
So it's got a little bit brighter sounding. You know, I have that guitar too. To me, that's my favorite to play.
Okay.
Les Paul. I guess they call it a standard now.
Oh, a Les Paul standard?
Yeah.
That's like your favorite one?
My favorite guitar. That's my Jimmy Page guitar.
Okay.
That's the one, you know.
Yeah.
It has all the sounds, Gary Moore, all the modern sounds.
Yeah.
It's to me, it's the most guitar that sounds most like what I want to sound like.
Okay.
Of course, when you play a different guitar, you sound different.
Sure.
You know, some people, when they play a certain guitar, they sound like somebody else that plays that guitar.
Yeah.
You've seen that where people like to have that Mark Knopfler type of Strat sound.
Right.
So when they play a Strat and they look for that sound, they sound like Mark Knopfler instead of exploring a little bit more to see what you sound like.
Yeah. Do you find that when you pick up a guitar, a different guitar, does it make you play differently or even write songs differently?
Yeah, yeah. A different guitar brings a different type of creativity because the first thing you do is you hear what it sounds like.
Yeah.
And then you're noodle around to more what you're thinking the song is going to be.
Yeah. And you play slide guitar too.
Yeah. I played lap steel for about 20 years.
Yeah.
I played at hula shows on the mainland when we moved there in 2001.
Yeah.
We moved up to Portland, and I got to know all those guys too. There were a lot of guys from Hawaii that lived in Pacific Northwest, so we were all easy to find or easy to notice each other in the grocery line.
Yeah.
And you hear one guy talking, you go, "Well, that guy's from Hawaii." So I had people approach me that were from Hawaii, and they go, "Hey, you're from Hawaii?" I go, "Yeah."
Yeah, let's talk about that. You had been playing. Well, I remember the first time I saw you play, and that was about, I would say, 1998. Was at Charlie's in KL.
Yeah.
So you had been playing in Hawaii up until that time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Mainly on the Big Island.
Mainly on the Big Island, once in a while in Honolulu, and once in a while in Maui.
But then shortly after that, you went to Portland?
Yeah, we moved to the Pacific Northwest in 2001.
Okay.
I mean, I got to the SeaTac, the airport in Seattle. I got to that exactly 9/10/2001.
Okay.
9/11 was the very next morning.
Oh boy.
So it was, the whole world had changed right in front of my eyes.
Right.
All of a sudden at the airport, you see a lot of soldiers with guns.
Wow. So you got there a day before 9/11.
Yeah, I got there.
Seattle.
Yeah, I got there the night before.
Yeah. And that must have been like the next month or so must have been really different. You just moved from Hawaii.
Yeah, and it was a widespread panic on the mainland.
Yeah.
I mean, people didn't trust Arabs.
Yeah.
Because of that. So it was a whole different thing. But Portland, they just moved on.
Yeah.
They just went around all the different. You couldn't fly anywhere, so people were coming by cars.
Okay. And what made you move to Portland or to the Northwest?
Well, I had a friend of mine lived in Port Angeles over in Washington.
Okay.
And
beautiful spot.
He invited me to work for him.
Okay.
So I came over not knowing what kind of job it was going to be, and I was prepared to play music. I brought an amp and a guitar, and I wanted to hook up with somebody I really didn't know. So I looked in the newspaper, and I found musicians that were playing here and there, and I'd just go and check them out. So
okay.
Got a chance to play a lot. Once they saw and heard me play, it changed the whole thing. They were like, "Oh, yeah, this guy, oh yeah, he's." All of a sudden, I got hired by a lot of bands just as a lead guitar player.
Oh,
not a lead guitar player, singer, but just to play lead guitar. I hooked up with a touring band.
So they were hiring you to play lead?
Yeah, on a phone call. They hired me on a phone call.
Yeah.
They heard about, this guy and news travels kind of fast.
Yeah.
So I got a lot of calls for jobs, and it was bands hiring me to play the guitar player for them,
And how many years were you there?
We were in the Pacific Northwest for 10 years.
10 years. Okay. Right.
So I got my mileage in there, playing everywhere.
Yeah.
From Seattle down to Eugene, from Portland out to Pendleton, out there in East Oregon, stuff like that. So I played everywhere.
And then about 10 years later, that would have been what?
2009, 2010.
You came back to Hawaii.
Yeah, I moved back because once you go through one winter, you learn a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
The next winter, it's more of the same. So you're still, oh boy, I got to prepare now for winter.
Yeah.
And by the third winter, you're going like, all of a sudden you're noticing all these TV commercials about Hawaii on TV. You're like, oh man, I'm homesick. I want to go home, but you couldn't because any major move like that, you need money.
Yeah.
So you got to save up money. It takes a while, save up money. You got to ship all your household goods, your cars, all that. That all takes money and it takes time to get the money.
Yeah.
So it took us, I would say, 5 years to save up to come back. So
okay.
I had to work those 5 years.
To save up to come back to Hawaii.
To save up to come back to Hawaii, which I really wanted to because every winter I started getting ill. I started getting sick, catching the flu.
Yeah.
All the cold.
I understand. I'm originally from Seattle.
Yeah, so man,
Yeah.
it's kind of like, wow, okay, all right. I know what that's all about. I want to go back home.
Yeah.
So we planned, and then we moved back.
Yeah.
And we moved back to Oahu because I knew I could get jobs right away playing music.
Okay.
I still had all my friends there, back there that I knew, and they were willing to welcome me and employ me. And so we stayed there, but it just Honolulu got too much for me. After about, I would say, almost 2 years, then we moved to the Big Island.
So again, you were in Honolulu 2 years. Said I got to get out of here.
Yeah, I couldn't stand it the first year.
Yeah.
So the next year was just bear it.
Yeah.
Just make the best of it. Let's save up our money and move.
Yeah. Well, it's beautiful over there, but it's just there's a lot of people over there, and the traffic and everything.
The traffic is too much, because I always thought there were too many cars on the island. Because if everybody decides to go somewhere at the same time, traffic jam.
Yeah. Yeah. So now you came back.
Yeah. So we moved back, and I was so happy. Been in Happyville ever since we moved back. This is where I belong. This is where I want to be. All of our old friends too. They didn't forget us. When we came back, they're like, "Oh, he's back."
Yeah. Everybody was happy.
Yeah. They did a big newspaper article. I don't know if I ever showed you that, but they got the Tribune. They printed this big picture.
Yeah.
Big letters. He's back.
There you go.
And it was. I had never seen press like that before.
Yeah.
It was lucky. And I feel pretty fortunate that people still remembered me. When I came back, boom, 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 4 albums. 4 years, 4 albums.
Wow. So you had made a few albums even before you left for
3 albums.
Before?
Yeah.
Before you moved to the Northwest. You get back, and then 4 more albums.
I had the inspiration because everything that I learned on the mainland, all the different situations that I went through, I could write about it.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I had stuff to write about. Sometimes when you're writing songs, you don't really know what to do or what to write about.
Yeah.
You want to do it, and you can do it, but it takes planning like everything else. It takes deciding, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to play this one in a blues. I'm going to do this one in a country. I'm going to do. You just show all of the different sides of you.
Yeah.
You know, acoustically, a lot of people really don't know I play slide.
Yeah.
You know.
Are you consistently writing?
Yes.
You're consistently writing?
Yes. I can't help it. It's just something that I do. I mean, there's no way that I'm going to stop doing it.
So you're just constantly writing?
There's stuff to write about.
Yeah.
You know. And
when you write, how do you go about it? Do you come up with a tune first, or do you think of the words first, or?
It happens both ways.
Yeah.
Some songs, I can think of the words first, and then I put it to music.
Uh-huh.
And then some songs, the music's already in my head.
Okay.
My brain is going through a constant state of flux. You know, it's like all these chords and all these notes.
Yeah.
Then I just pick something. And I do it when I do my practicing.
Okay.
Then I discover different chord progressions or a different way where chords fit together in a different direction. And I go move in that direction. And I go, well, okay, what's this song going to be? Because up till then, it's only an instrument.
Okay.
You know, it's got a melody and all this kind of stuff. Like Beach Day, it's got a melody to it. It's got a story.
Yeah.
Musically.
Right. This is from your new album.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you practice, you're kind of mixing.
I'm writing at the same time.
Yeah. And when you practice, what do you practice?
Just making sounds.
Yeah.
You know, and then in a few minutes I'll go, oh, that's kind of neat. I'll use that in a song.
Yeah.
And then the more I explore that, other chords or other progressions come into mind.
So you're kind of focused when you're practicing.
I practice with a purpose.
Okay.
You know, one is to maintain what I have already.
Uh-huh.
And the other part is to discover what else I can do, what new sounds.
Did you take lessons yourself, or is this mainly self-taught for you?
Well, I was self-taught until I started working professionally.
Okay.
And then I learned a lot then. I started working in Sea West Studios on Oahu.
Okay.
Rick Kiefer, Sea West Studio, he's the one that recorded Heart.
Oh, he was originally in Seattle, or not?
In
not
Seattle,
right in Seattle.
Yeah,
but
he was from there, and he moved to, Honolulu. On the North Shore.
Yeah.
He was recording Cecilio and Capono at the time.
Uh-huh.
So when I applied for the job as a studio musician,
uh-huh,
I met him, and he goes, well, you have to be able to read all this. So it took me like a couple weeks. You know, I took lessons from a keyboard and vocal teacher.
Yeah.
So she helped me transcribe all the stuff I could.
Oh.
So I could understand it.
Okay.
And then what I did from there was, the longer I worked in the studio, the better I got at reading.
Okay.
Because it was all just, we're doing this today.
Okay. So you learned how to read then at that point.
Yeah, it was easy to me, it was pretty easy to do because I could tell the direction of the notes.
Uh-huh.
You know.
That studio moved. I remember when I first came to Hawaii, and they moved over here for a while.
They moved to Leilani Estates.
Uh-huh.
Rick and Donna lived there, and he called me up. He says, "You're living here, huh?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "I got some studio work for you."
Oh.
So I said, "Okay." And back then it was 3-hour session, so it was like booking a 3-hour session for $400.
Oh.
So I booked 3-hour session, but what would happen was Some songs I'd do, it'd be one take.
Okay.
So I'd be in and out of there in 10 minutes.
Oh.
But I got hired for 3 hours.
Okay.
So Rick paid me in full,
Yeah.
And I'd take off, do 3 or 4 songs, one take. That'll take about half an hour.
Yeah.
Because each song was like 3.5 minutes long,
Sure.
4 minutes at the longest. Because it was all radio play.
Yeah.
They didn't do long songs like FM radio.
Yeah.
Radio play stuff. So
would that happen sometimes? You just nail it, right? They'd ask you to come up with something, and you would just.
What used to happen sometimes was I'd get in there.
Yeah.
And then I'd be fooling around trying to get a good sound.
Okay.
And then Rick would run the track, the rest of the stuff that he got.
Uh-huh.
And he goes, okay, just play along with it. So I'm sitting there fooling around, playing along. And then he goes, oh, do that again. So I play, fooling around. Are you ready? Yeah, I'm ready. Well, you're done already. We got what we needed with the 2 outtakes. Oh, wait, I didn't even try. I was just fooling around. He goes, no, that's the best ones because you're really being creative in that. The third one, you're trying to best what you did before, always. So you mess up.
Yeah.
It's just a penchant for messing up, So the studio back then was all reel-to-reel tape, 2-inch tape. So you couldn't punch in, reverse to this and do it again. You couldn't do that. You had to do it all the way through from the beginning to the end.
Sure.
So it was like some of my rhythm, my rhythm offerings, I'd be playing for about a minute or so. And, of course, I got the plan all out, and I know what's coming and what to do. But, when you're doing something busy, what comes into mind was, oh, yeah, was I supposed to go next to the store and get milk? And as I'm doing it, I hated doing that because that made me mess up.
Yeah.
The minute that thought comes in, oh, what did Caroline tell me? I had to stop it. As I'm doing, oh no, I gotta concentrate for the whole 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Not miss a beat, be on time, be in tune. Everything's don't want to mess up. Now, digitally, you can just play little parts here and there and put them all together and you got a song.
Yeah, sure.
Back then it was like you had to physically lay the stuff down.
And you had to cut the tape, and you had to.
They had. Oh boy. Yeah. So that's how I learned how to be a bass player in the studio.
Yeah.
Was a lot of times the bass player didn't show up, and I'm there finishing up my part, and just before I leave, Rick goes, "Oh, the bass player's not showing up today, and we need this bass part. Why don't you do it?"
Yeah. About what year was that?
That was in 1978, 78.
Oh, wow. So they were over in Oahu?
Till 77.
Till 77. And then they moved to the Big Island.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he still had the guys, the guys that were recording for him or doing material were still from the mainland coming over, flying over, and got a chance to meet them because I'd be cutting their songs, I'd be cutting the track. They go, "Oh, this is the guy." Oh yeah, it's the guy, and he's gonna after this guitar part, he's gonna go do the bass part. So I had to already have an idea of what the bass part's going to be as I'm doing the guitar part.
Right. So you kind of got the experience of like producing also.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why when I did the 4 albums, I had a hand in producing also because I brought people in to do parts, it just became something that I had to do. You know,
Yeah.
I took it upon myself to
Nice.
do all that. You know.
So you got the reading in, you got the producing, you
Got the playing,
Yeah.
and then the vocals in '79. I started being serious about vocals. I took vocal lessons.
You took vocal lessons. Okay.
You know, from Dr. Eileen Brennan at the Hilo College.
Oh, okay.
I took vocal lessons.
Wow, nice.
And then one other thing that I had to do was, because I was suffering from major stage fright, I had to talk to people, right? As a band leader, talk to the audience.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. I didn't know, well, what am I going to say, you know?
Yeah.
So I took a speech class at UH.
Uh-huh.
So I was get used to talking to people.
Yeah.
Otherwise, years ago, you wouldn't be able to get me to talk about anything.
Yeah.
Because I felt inadequate.
Wow.
You know, but I did. I
Yeah.
prepared myself for the future. Back then,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Max, get down. Come on, down, down, down. No, come here.
So, oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Come here.
So Max is back. So you have just come out, or you've just recorded a new album.
Yes, I earlier, or the latter part of last year,
Yeah.
started a new album about October,
Okay.
and we finished in May.
Okay.
Finished the album, and it was just, it came together like it was supposed to.
And that was produced over where?
It was produced over on Oahu at Dave Tuccirone's studio,
Okay.
and he was a really big help as far as mastering and engineering, and what comes with producers is a lot of philosophizing.
Yeah.
You know, the way they think, the way, oh, well, you know, if you do this, then, okay, because he always wanted to understand what direction I would go in. Because every song's a different direction.
Yeah.
Not keep on going in that direction.
Yeah.
I don't think I can consciously do that. I have to just relax and be myself, and what comes.
Yeah.
I don't make that much of a hard decision on things. I do pretty much what I feel like doing.
Yeah.
You know, write what I feel like writing about. You know, I don't really answer to anybody. You know, you remember Wayne Harada?
Why does that sound familiar?
He was for the for the the Honolulu Star Bulletin.
Uh-huh.
He was the guy that critiqued albums.
Okay.
So back then, he critiqued my first album, and he gave me such a really good critique.
Yeah.
Made it seem like I was better than I thought I was.
Uh-huh.
You know, so that album sold, and it pretty much put me on the map. It changed my career right there to become an artist instead of just a performer.
Was that your first album?
Yeah,
That was your first album?
the first album.
Okay.
And he critiqued that, and John from the Tribune, he critiqued my other albums after that.
Okay.
And you remember the guy, a radio personality, Cyrus Boyard?
Yes, I knew Cyrus.
You know Cyrus?
Yeah.
Okay, he interviewed me for that second album.
Okay.
And I took me into it was a live interview during drive home time.
Okay.
So he got me into the studio and we started talking about stuff and he played the album for me. And on the radio, it was like...
So you got airplay.
I got airplay for quite a few songs.
Nice.
And it helped a whole lot.
Yeah.
So I knew that radio interviews were really important.
Yeah.
You know, especially live or however you're going to tape it, but it's live at the time.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm willing, you know, I like doing interviews because I don't talk so much about myself anyway.
Yeah.
I have a long history of stuff. And, you know, to me, it's got a whole lot and up to now, and it's not going to stop.
Yeah.
It's going to continue on because I have songs left over.
Yeah.
That's 7 more songs. And all I got to do is write 3 more and I'll have another album.
Yeah. Well, we're at the end of June right now.
Mm-hmm.
When are you planning on releasing the new album?
It'll be released in October.
In October. Okay.
Yeah, I'm giving it a lot of time for us to come up with a plan on how we're going to do it. We're going to do shows. We're going to do, you know, am I going to do an album release party?
Yeah.
I mean, already the Palace Theater, they're going like, we know you're finishing an album, so when you want to do the album release party, come see us. We'll have it at the Palace.
At the Palace.
Yeah. I just kind of thought, wow, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, because, but, you know, since you did the Santana thing, you're on everybody's map now. You're on their radar.
Yeah.
When is the next time this guy going to do it?
Well, you've been doing a lot of playing. I mean, you've been in the last few years. You even just recently were on a cruise. Your wife Carolyn and you were playing on a cruise to Scandinavia.
Yeah, well, we were. It was a blues cruise in Sweden. And we caught the ship in Stockholm. And we flew into Stockholm. We stayed there a couple of days to get acclimated to the weather and all that kind of stuff. But we got on the cruise ship, and I've never played on a cruise ship before, you know. But it was like the audience couldn't get away. They're on the ship. Right?
They can't go anywhere.
Can't go anywhere. So when we played, it was. Boy, the Swedish people, they're so nice.
Yeah.
They're real country-minded, simple stuff. And they really liked the fact that I played blues and rock. Yeah. They were into it totally. And we were the only band from Hawaii ever to go there. So it was like a dream. It was. I can't say any better than that. It was like whatever you could dream up. Yeah. You know, they welcomed us. We didn't have to go through the line to get on the ship. What the bus driver did with all of us from the airport and all this kind of stuff, he went to the front of the ship. The front of the ship opens up. This ramp comes out, and he backs the whole bus into the ship. All right. You know, so right outside was the elevators to our room. So we didn't have to go to the front desk. Wow. We just, nobody saw us get in there. You know, and of course we had to play that night, so it was a lot of moving around and a lot of nervousness and a lot of excitement.
Well, that's another question. Like, what do you bring with you? I mean, what kind of amp do you usually use?
I'll lobby for a tube amp.
Okay.
Usually a tube amp is, I can get my sound easier than on a, what's called a circuit type of amp.
Yeah.
You know.
Solid state.
Yeah, with tube emulation or whatever. A good tube amp, 30, 35 watts, that's perfect.
Yeah.
On stage. You know, and that gives me the sound.
Yeah.
And of course I played the Les Paul. So I had the only Les Paul on the ship.
Yeah.
All the other bands had Strats,
Yeah.
Van Halen type guitars, and different guitars, but I had the only Les Paul on the ship.
Yeah. And you don't really use a lot of pedals either. You mainly get your sound from the amp and the guitar and your fingers.
It's all about guitar playing. It's not really about what sound effects.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy to press a button and sound a certain way.
Yeah.
But if you work towards it and you can make that sound without the pedal,
yeah,
your signal is a lot more cleaner.
Yeah.
And then you can dial in the amp to sound how you want to sound.
Yeah. What is your favorite amp?
My favorite amp is with the one I have, the Fender Supersonic.
Fender Supersonic.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what it is a boutique Fender amp, hand-wired, really expensive. It's a difference between a Vibrolux, which is exactly like what that is, and a boutique hot rod channel, which I use to get a certain sound.
Okay.
If I got to play clean, I go to the clean channel. It sounds beautiful. You know.
Okay.
The tubes are, to me, more warmer sounding than.
Did you use that amp for this new album that's coming out, or?
Yes, okay. I used that amp and also a Fender Champ.
Okay.
Small little Fender Champ. Turned up.
Fender Champ?
Yeah.
Yeah. Turned up
and mic'd, and it was great. You know, it was a good sound.
And what guitars did you use?
I used first I used my Les Paul, and then I brought my Strat over, and then the producer said, well, I got a Strat. I got a Les Paul. You don't have to bring that. You know, he was looking more at protecting my guitars.
Yeah.
I don't have to bring them over. I used his Les Paul and his Strat and his Telecaster.
Okay.
And between the three, I took care of the whole album.
But you also played a slide.
Yeah, I took my frying pan.
Okay. So you have a Rickenbacker.
Yes.
A lot of people should know. He's got a vintage frying pan.
1935.
1935. Yeah.
It's a different kind of aluminum too, because it's before World War II.
Right.
So aluminum, a lot of it got used on ships, airplanes, Jeeps, trucks, you know, and
it's also got that horseshoe pickup that they don't make.
They don't make that anymore.
They don't have the metal to make it, or even the magnets.
They don't have the.
Yeah.
You can't find, it. So whoever has one, he's got something very valuable for a sound.
Yeah.
It's got that authentic Hawaiian sound.
Right.
And I love it. I love playing that guitar.
Yeah.
But I would only do it if there were maybe 3 or 4 other guitar players playing at the same time.
Okay.
So why,
Yeah.
You're only going to do the same thing they're doing. Yeah. So if you're playing, it's a whole different way of playing. Yeah. Different technique. You got different things you can do. Of course, you can make it talk and all that kind of stuff. But it's like, it's got, without frets, you got to be exactly stopped, exactly on the note itself.
Yeah.
Without frets. So it takes up, I would say, a lot of concentration and a lot of attention to the tone actual note,
Yeah.
whether it's in tune or sharp or flat. It all depends on where your hand ends up.
Yeah.
So if you got a good ear and where you've been playing a while, you know how to do the stops.
Kind of the way the violin has to play it.
Exactly. So it gives you everything. So you got to be really specific about what you want.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you do a good job on it. So.
I have so much fun playing guitar and playing steel and playing dobro. And I just like to add instead of be the focal point.
Right. So, do you have an online presence? How do people find out more about where you're playing, the upcoming album?
It's LarryDupio.com, and I'm actually on the internet. There's a lot of YouTube videos that feel like entertaining yourself.
Okay.
But it's the website, and I'm on other websites too. The Nahoku Award website. I'm on their website.
Oh, since you've mentioned that, you did give an award a few years ago, didn't you?
I did. I got, for the 2 albums in a row, I got a Nahoku Award for Best Rock Album of the Year.
Okay. And for the people that don't know, that the Nahoku Award is kind of like the Hawaiian Grammys.
That's what they call it.
Yeah.
That's what they call it. It's an award for music and entertaining.
Yeah.
And it covers a lot of Hawaii artists. But, you know, artists from different islands, artists from Japan, they all submit to that. And I would say it's pretty far-reaching.
Yeah.
Pretty far-reaching because, you know, all the way to the East Coast on the strength of the Nahoku Award wins.
Yeah.
I got 2, and last year I got the Lifetime Achievement Award.
Oh,
last year. So
yeah.
It adds to everything that I'm doing, and I'm not stopping because I'm having so much fun. You know.
All right.
You know, it's just fun to go and play. And I play every week at the Kukuau Studio Jazz Jam.
Every Monday?
Yeah.
All right.
I try to show up every Monday.
Yeah.
When I was on Maui, I couldn't go.
Yeah.
Because I played there for the Memorial Day weekend. Yeah. Their Jazz and Blues Festival. There's another one coming up on the 13th of July at the Mauna Kea Beach.
Yeah, I'm hoping to see that too.
You'll really like it.
Yeah.
Well, they not only that day, but the night before at the Copper Bar in the hotel, they have previews.
Yeah.
You know, the musicians that are coming, they get together and play that night and just.
Oh. There's a tip for everybody if they go to that show.
Yeah, try to go there one night before that because that's where you start. Then everybody's pretty open to be. You can meet them and talk story, and they're not so rushed to go here or go there.
See, and that was it's the Jazz and Blues Festival?
It's the Big Island Jazz and Blues Festival at the Mauna Kea Beach Hotel.
At the Mauna Kea Beach Hotel.
Yeah, they hold it in the Luau grounds, which is in that you go to that pathway to the beach. It's along there.
And that's going to be July
13th.
13th. Okay.
Yeah, and I'll be doing a set. So.
Okay. So you'll be playing there, and then shortly after that, you've got an album coming out.
I've got an album ready to go, and we finished it up about May.
Yeah.
So I've got all this time before October.
Yeah.
To actually market it because nowadays there's no CD. It's all electronically
distributed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can download it and
Yeah.
listen to the album and stuff.
Sure.
You know, just let me know. As soon as I get a digital copy of it, I'll shoot it to you.
I got to hear part of it. You even did a song there when you met your wife, Caroline.
I wrote about when we met, and
How long ago was that?
45 years ago.
45 years ago.
Yeah.
Nice.
Actually, 46 years ago.
Yeah.
It took me a whole year to quit.
Yeah. And she works with you a lot on a lot.
She's very helpful. She's very knowledgeable. She does all the executive work.
Yeah.
I just play guitar
All
and
right.
enjoy what I'm doing and performing and stuff like that. And I don't get into politics.
Yeah.
You know, I like being on my property and
Yeah. Your family lives here now in Hilo. And,
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm happy at home. And
Yeah.
I haven't played in Hilo in the longest time. So I went back and started playing at the Kukrow studio.
Yeah.
You know, just to play, just to have fun, play jazz.
Yeah. Well, Hilo, the venue's kind of dried up a bit in the last few years. Hopefully that'll reverse itself.
Yeah, well, there's no shortage of musicians.
No, they've got some great ones here.
You know, and it's just the support of the town itself.
Yeah.
That's what's needed, is them to believe in us and, you know, not bring over Taylor Swift, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Believe in what's here. There's a lot of really good musicians here. And a lot of them have been struggling for years.
Yeah.
Trying to get some kind of notice or somebody to know that they're doing it, you know. And the advice I give them is cut albums and people will notice what you're doing. You got to have evidence.
Yeah. Well, and then the whole distribution thing is different now.
It's way different. So I have different companies that are helping me with distribution, you know, worldwide distribution. Now that I've been to Sweden and I got all them interested in my albums, and they visit my website and download songs that they like, and it's just crazy. I mean, you know, it's just, I could never think of a better situation.
Yeah. Are you thinking about going on more cruises or?
Yes, as soon as I can. Right now, I'm actually trying to get a steady gig on Maui at Mulligan's.
Oh.
On the Blue. I'm talking to the guy and
Mulligan's.
yeah.
Okay.
It's one of those spots on Maui that are hip.
Okay.
A lot of people go there.
So is this like 1 week out of the month or
something
like that?
Yeah,
Okay.
that kind of thing. Once a month.
Yeah.
Because I have to also think about Honolulu. Go there.
Yeah.
Because in a place like Honolulu, if they don't see you all the time, they forget.
Yeah.
Because there's so much other stuff going on. So you got to keep. And once I release the album, I'll probably do a lot better as far as keeping it in people's sights, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just an exciting thing to be able to play your songs.
Yeah.
You know, to be able to even say, "Oh, that's a song I wrote." Or,
Yeah.
you know, as an artist, you have to have that kind of stuff.
Right.
It's hard to be an artist without having that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I know guys that don't have albums, and they call themselves artists. It's like, okay, let's hear a song. I don't have one.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of internet performers that are just doing, you know, like
I know.
clips and
I see that too, and that's all fine and good, you know. But I like playing live. I'd rather doing that than play in the living room.
you get that input from the
Instant.
Yeah.
You get the instant approval or disapproval. Either one. You know?
Yeah.
And you have to be, well, not have to be, but you actually have to be ready to accept whatever is coming, you know, good or bad.
Yeah.
If it's bad, then you say, well, how can I improve this?
Yeah.
And if it's good, you go, I'll do more of this.
Yeah.
I'll keep on doing this part, you know. I just love playing guitar. I love playing acoustic guitar. I love playing dobro. I like just creating a music thing. You know?
Well, you sure do a great job at it.
I'll never stop.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it was really great, you know, you letting me come over here and talk story and.
Oh man, you're like extended family to me, man. You know, it's like I don't really seek that kind of thing out.
Yeah.
Because I like staying home.
Yeah, yeah.
When I'm out performing, then that's something different. You know?
Yeah.
But being at home and just talking story, that's for family stuff, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know, some things you didn't know.
Yeah.
You know? And now that you know a bunch of new stuff about me,
yeah.
You know, I also play golf.
Yes, you do. You play golf regularly now, yeah?
Yeah, once or twice a week.
Okay.
And it's just fun. It's the alter ego of me.
Okay.
Nice and quiet, nice scenery. You just get to move along, hit the ball.
Yeah.
You know, it's all about bettering yourself. You're not in competition with anybody. You're just in competition with yourself.
Yeah.
Maybe I can do better today.
Yeah.
You know, and I've reached one of the pinnacles of golf. I've hit a hole-in-one.
Oh boy. Okay.
Maybe that'll be the only one for the rest of my life. You know? But that was an exciting one. It was like, say the green is where that building is across the street.
Okay.
And I'm sitting here, and I take out this, and I hit the ball, and it goes right to the green,
yeah.
Bounces on the green, and rolls right in the hole and goes in.
Yeah. Well, you'll probably do it again because you sure are hitting holes in one with the guitar.
Yeah. I'm having so much fun with life. I mean, you have to enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if you're not enjoying life, then do something to make yourself enjoy it.
Yeah.
Better your situation, whether it's physical or mental.
Yeah.
You know, it's important to be happy.
Well, those are some very profound words right there.
You know, it's become important to me. I mean, everybody goes through tragedy.
Yeah.
And whether you dwell on that or you move forward, it's all up to you, you know.
Yeah.
And I believe in moving forward because the past is the past.
Yeah.
Don't drag that around with you.
Yeah.
Never do that. It kills you inside, you know.
Yeah.
And if you're always looking forward to the next day, like me being a heart attack survivor, I look forward to
Oh,
the
that's
next
right.
day.
You have survived a heart attack.
Yeah, two heart attacks.
Yeah.
And a quadruple bypass.
Wow.
Yeah. Some of my friends, they joke around. They go, "Man, they just can't kill you, can they? You just won't die." I said, well, "Why would you want me to?" No, we're just saying because you keep coming back. You keep coming back. You get injured, you're off for a little bit, and you keep coming back. Next time you see you're still playing guitar. And you know, I know what they're talking about and what they see, but on my end of it, I'm just glad to be going forward. You know.
How are you feeling now?
I'm feeling great.
All right.
I'm feeling so fortunate.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I thank God for what I have and what I still have. And, you know, just looking forward to the next times I play. be able to create my own music. I mean, I still do that when I play live. I recreate what I recorded, but then I always add stuff to it.
Okay.
Other stuff comes out when I'm, playing. I go, oh, too bad I'm not recording now. I would have used this idea right here.
All right.
It just happens, and I'm glad that it happens. I'm glad that I don't have writer's block.
Just happens, and you're going with the flow.
I'm just going with what's going on.
Whatever that wave is.
Yeah. It's a great feeling, to actually have something to look forward to.
Oh, wow.
I'm looking forward to this new album too. I would say it's a little bit more radio friendly than eclectic like the other ones.
Yeah, this upcoming one. Okay. Well, folks, Larry Dupio, look him up and listen to some of the
records that he has out now. They can order that on your website?
Yes.
Okay. So,
Yes. All the albums I've had are all ready to go.
Okay. Are you on any streaming services right
Yes,
now?
I have my own. Actually, have my own radio station on Spotify.
On Spotify, so they can
Just pull up my name and all kinds of.
on Spotify.
Yeah,
Okay.
kinds of stuff will come up.
Okay.
If you want to see videos, YouTube,
Just search.
I have just say Larry Dupio in it.
Okay.
All this stuff will come up. It's fun.
Okay. Thank you.
And you're welcome, Stephen.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much for coming over.
Thanks for having me over.
Yay!